What's going on, everybody? We got Skyler and Austin Gooner today. We're going to do a 3-round Steelers mock draft because they're both Steelers fans. No real ties to Pittsburgh. You don't have any ties, do you, Skyler? No real ties to Pittsburgh. Who knows why they're Pittsburgh Steelers fans?
Me and Calvin go way back.
You and Calvin go way back. Penn State roommates, huh? Not Penn State. Memphis. But crack a cold one and settle in. Ooh, bev of the day. Diet Dr. P. Here we go. Let's get into this mock draft. Let me share my screen for you guys. Here we go. Austin Gooner, Skyler. I'll just say Skyler. I don't need to go full government name. We don't need that. We'll go.
Full gov.
They're full what they want and need from this mock draft. 3 rounds. Let's get into it. But what is your first want, Calvin Austin Gooner?
I think we need another receiver.
You think?
That's a no on that trade. I think a slot receiver would be great.
I mean, we just got Michael Pittman, so DK Michael Pittman and then another slot receiver.
I don't hate that trade offer. I don't hate that. Oh, but Vega's on the board.
Ooh.
I would say no. Vega's on the board. I don't think. I'm seeing Vega Ione on the board. I don't think we can trade that pick away.
What do you have to say, Calvin Austin Gooner?
Is Vega the offensive lineman?
Yeah, he's the guard from Penn State.
Yeah. I guarantee you, we trade this pick. We go down one slot. I guarantee you, LA picks that.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
No, I see that.
That is a good trade, but I wouldn't do it.
Okay, look at you guys. So I'm assuming you're taking Vega.
Yeah, Vega's got to be.
We got to if he's still there.
This one, I wouldn't mind looking at the receivers. Just take a peek.
Okay.
And if I don't like that, which I don't.
You don't like Deshaun Stribling?
Not at 53.
I guess he's kind of the same archetype as like your other receivers.
You know? I do like Chris Bell, but not at second round.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh loves a big guy, don't they?
Yeah, well, you gotta love the big fellas, right? But 6'4", 180 is still very slot. You know, he's just a big slot.
You got DK Pittman. Jeez, that'd be probably the tallest receiving core ever.
That's tall. What if we took a look at the linebackers on the board? Just who's left? Ooh. You know, if Kyle Lewis is available at 85, I want Kyle Lewis.
Your next pick's at 76. So.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think interior D-line is also necessary. I don't know how the Calvin Austin Gooner feels, but Lee Hunter at
that's very important.
Is insane. How did Lee Hunter go down in the ESPN big board? Yeah. Lee Hunter apparently is being disrespected, but that is a guy that I would like.
9.3 motor. I don't know all this whole thing, but I know motor's impressive.
Yeah.
Feels like a Dan Campbell kind of guy.
He does feel like a Dan Campbell guy. The Steelers need help on the interior. Obviously, they grabbed a first-round pick last year, and it was a great pick by them. They had that Iowa guy as well. Cat out of Iowa is really good, in the A-gap. I'd say just keep beefing up that interior defensive line with Cameron Hayward retiring. I feel like that's got to be the move. And Lee Hunter is the best on the board, in my opinion.
You agree,
I don't really know who Lee Hunter is, but I trust you, bro.
He's the star defensive tackle for Texas Tech, which Texas Tech's defense was insane this year. So
they were insane.
They were nuts.
You know, as a fan of all things Utah sports, other than BYU, of course.
TJ Parker's still on the board.
Yeah. No, I feel like an edge, unless they trade Alex Highsmith, an edge in the second round makes no sense.
But it's TJ Parker.
You know?
It's still TJ Parker.
Yeah. You're right. It's TJ Parker. I just feel like, what does a fifth edge rusher do, you know?
I guess it's still Lee Hunter.
It's hard to say that, you know. I would go with Lee Hunter before TJ Parker. Maybe I'm a little high on Lee Hunter, but...
We'll just reject this trade. Maybe if we do a second one, you guys can look at trades. Yeah. But did you want to look at linebackers?
Look back at linebackers. Kyle Lewis should still be there.
He is still there.
Keep him in Pittsburgh.
Keep him in Pittsburgh, but to go along with that, I think, you draft Kyle Lewis and you hope to move Patrick Queen, towards the the trade deadline,
To the door.
You can move Patrick Queen. There's been talks about it already. I love Patrick Queen. Obviously, he's coming off a down season, but that's that. What about receivers? How do our receivers look?
Ted Hurst and Deshaun Stribling are still there. Jacoby Lane.
Yeah.
Jacoby Lane. I do like Jacoby Lane.
Jacoby Lane is going to be a stud, but if he's a stud in Pittsburgh, if he gets drafted by Pittsburgh, I'm not going to like it. Because it's a DK Metcalf, like just big body, outside the number guy.
You can go Trey Lance's brother. A little Bryce Lance action. Everyone's huge. All wide receivers are massive this draft. What the crap?
Yeah.
Wait, click on Skyler Bell. I'll be 6'5". I thought he was taller than that.
I wouldn't hate Skyler Bell here, but I wouldn't hate Kyle Lewis. I'll let the Calvin Austin Gooner speak some magic into what this pick should be.
I like Kyle Lewis. No, I like Kyle Lewis. I'm not super ball knowledge with this like deep into the draft. So
yeah, but let's keep in mind we still have 2 other picks we can make. We've got 85 and 99.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking as we look at this, there's going to be some receivers towards the end of the 3rd round. I think we grab Kyle Lewis while he's here.
I don't think Kyle Lewis will be there if we don't pick him right here.
And Josh Cameron. I like Josh Cameron.
I think in the 3rd round is crazy.
I mean, he was on my NCAA Ultimate team, so I'm a little biased. So was Deshaun Stribling, so.
Yeah.
So Kyle Lewis is the pick, huh?
Yes, sir.
I think Kyle Lewis is the pick. This one has to be a receiver. If it's not a receiver, we're doing a disservice.
Brennan Thompson, fastest guy.
They're really saying that the AI is really making us grab Deshaun Stribling. At this point, it's a disservice to not draft him.
I'm with it.
He's with it. We'll go with it. Here we go. Last pick.
Wow, he's there, right?
Last pick. I didn't realize how many picks y'all had in this draft.
We've
we've got the most picks. It's 12?
Yeah.
Jeez. You go Kamari
Looking
Ramsey.
at Garrett Nussmeier. I'm looking at Garrett Nussmeier. I haven't mocked to Pittsburgh as it is. I think there's a lot of QB needy teams that draft at the top of the rounds. I haven't seen if Arizona draft like who grabbed Ty Simpson, right? But it's still there's still a lot of other teams out there, right?
I saw a mock draft today that had the Steelers drafting Ty Simpson with their first pick.
If y'all do that, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's
insane. It's gonna be a Kenny Pickett.
He went to the Jets at 44.
Crashed out.
Jets at 44. I don't hate that. I don't hate Jets at 44.
No.
Are you big on Will Howard?
Oh, of course. I think Will Howard can be special. I think he can be, but it never hurts. Right? He's a 5th round quarterback. What was it, 5th, 6th round?
Yeah, I think it was 5th.
Like, you're a 5th round quarterback. I think if you get Rodgers in there with Nussmeier and Will Howard, just see what can happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously if Rodgers comes back, which as of Tuesday, April 14th, I have no idea. Regardless, I wouldn't hate Kamari Ramsey here. I am big on Kamari Ramsey. My problem is, like, he fell really far in this mock, obviously, and you hate to see it because he may not be a day one starter for whoever drafts him, but he's going to be a starter, multi-year starter at that. I wouldn't hate Kamari Ramsey here. I'm just feeling the Steelers need quarterback more than they need safety. They brought in Jaquan Brisker. Deshaun Elliott's coming back from injury. Anyway, I would go Garrett Nussmeier here.
I'm with
Calvin Austin Gooner, you're with that?
Yeah, dude, I'm with it.
Gooner.
Me personally, I'm not a Steelers fan, but I would have gone Kamari Ramsey there. But your mock. A little B+ action. Garrett Nussmeier.
I've never give B pluses, dude.
It's a B+ because we reached on Kyle Lewis. On
Lee
ESPN's
Hunter at
big
a
board.
C is crazy.
It's because he's got that the 6.7 rating. He was like ranked 67 on ESPN. So,
Oh, was he actually?
you know, we drafted him at 53. That's early, right? And then Kyle Lewis was what was it 89? We grabbed him at 76, right? Like
Jeez.
the AI that PFSN uses says that we reached at 2 picks, then we had 3 insane picks. I don't think we reached with Lee Hunter. I guess we did reach with Kyle Lewis, but not like an absurd reach.
ESPN again, or what do you want? Should we switch it up?
We'll go PFE. We'll go PFSN. Look at the differences for
Okay,
me.
3 round.
Call me Omar. Wait, who went?
Holy Hall!
That is a crazy.
Damn.
Oh, the problem with this trade though is like the draft is in Pittsburgh. Does Pittsburgh not have a first round pick? I don't see anyone that the Steelers don't have a first round pick this draft.
That's a.
Yeah.
I would take this deal.
Or Big Ben.
I felt like the other one was better. The one by the Ravens was better.
I mean, it's only if next year's first and like next year's draft is that loaded, which I have no clue if it is. And I just hate the Broncos. Screw the Broncos' future.
This guy's a big Broncos hater.
That's how I felt about the Ravens. Yeah, I'd say no to that one though.
This is
Ooh, that's one I'd consider. I might consider that one. That's because I don't think the Raiders are going to make that big of a jump next season.
what are they even going to
I'll
get
let
here?
the Gooner decide this one, but
I mean, for the sake of the video,
I'm looking at the board.
Don't make
Vegas
me decide, bro.
here.
It's a lot of pressure.
let's try not to do the
I'm
same
looking-
picks. I know
Looking
Vegas
at the
there.
board. Vegas there. Caleb Lomu's there. Caden Proctor's there. Casey Concepcion, who's gonna be a stud.
Peter
love
Woods
it.
is there.
I love Casey.
Yeah, we can live without Peter Woods.
Let's reject it for the sake of the
Okay.
video, since
I
first
don't
round
know.
pick.
I would accept that. That's a good pick for me.
Okay, this hypothetical, you'd accept it,
That's
but
a
for
good
the,
enough haul for me. That's a good enough haul for me.
at 36, I think it's good too.
All right, so in this world, we cannot draft Vega, Casey Conception. If he's on the board, we draft Casey Conception every
Yeah,
day.
you kind of have to.
I do like that pick.
You know, you grab your slot guy. It's like that's my top 2 for Pittsburgh. This first round is, you either go if you only have one first round pick. There's a lot of reports saying, you know, they're going to trade back into the first round and have 2, which I wouldn't hate. In this hypothetical world, we only have one pick. We can't draft Vega, which is a much bigger need. You go Casey Conception.
I'm with it.
What are the linebackers available? I'm curious.
If
It
Jacob
looks like
Rodriguez,
Anthony Hill just went. Yeah, that's the guy I'm looking for, Jacob Rodriguez. I don't know what he's ranked here.
holy,
Oh,
where
he's
did
not
he
even
go?
available.
You probably already got drafted.
Holy, where did
First
this?
round pick? A first rounder. You know what? The Patriots need linebacker. They needed
I hate
that.
that pick.
I would have gone receiver at that point. What are some of the receivers that went after? None.
Chris Bell
Chris Bell.
and
Chris
Denzel
Bell,
Boston.
That's insane.
Caleb Banks is on the board. I think
I don't go Caleb Banks here. Let's
in the second round.
all I'm saying is Lee Hunter's a better player than Caleb Banks.
Yeah, but you
And
already
Hunter's
took
on-
Lee Hunter.
He's on the board.
But that gave you a C.
So
That
you
gave you a
take him
C,
again?
dude.
There ain't no rules in mock drafts, bro.
Yeah, but like spice it up, dude. Do it. You're not
All
gonna
right,
just do
spice
2.
it up. All right, let's go.
I like
Let's
it.
look at the defense.
I like it
Let's
plain, bro.
look at some. Let's look at the other D tackles, and then we'll look at some linebackers and just go from there. Caleb Banks is the best one that's not named Lee Hunter.
And think about the potential for Caleb Banks.
Yeah, I get you. I forget his measurements.
He's
Can you
like
pull up his
6'6" and a half, like 330, something like that. Yeah,
That's a big fella.
and he's explosive. Yeah, I mean, I know you
The
saw the clips of the
problem
senior
with
day,
that-
the Senior Bowl.
I did. My problem with Caleb Banks is he just feels like an A gap guy, and the Steelers have A gap guy, covered. I guess he's the best fit on the board. So if we're looking at best fit that's on the board, it's not named Anthony Hill because he just went. I would go Caleb Banks since we can't draft Lee Hunter.
I'm
Who
low-key,
is a better pick?
I'm liking this draft more already.
Could be a pick Lee Hunter.
No,
I don't. I like the last one more. Linebacker. Could also go look at some safeties. Jake Golday's on the board. Kyle Lewis
Bud
is of
Clark,
course on the
little
board.
range
Bud Clark,
there.
I do like Bud Clark.
I think Kamari Ramsey right here. I wouldn't hate. Bud Clark would be fine.
You could get Bud Clark with one of your
I
other
would
picks.
go Bud Clark or Kamari Ramsey.
You could go somewhere else and then get Bud Clark next.
You think he'll still be there?
I mean,
Yeah, he should be there.
based off the numbers, if we're talking stats, yeah, he should.
Well, I guess what other like offensive? Oh wait, we need a guard. So we didn't draft a guard. Oh God, I forgot all about that. Bo Stevens, that's our guy.
I don't know who that
Don't
is.
draft
to be honest.
Jalen Farmer's
don't
good.
Draft him. Jaden Farmer's, yeah, he's fine. I'd rather have Bo Stevens than like 3 rounds later. What are some tackles on the board?
Markel Bell, you can go get a giant.
And Markel Bell is a giant.
I would go Kamari Ramsey or Bud Clark, and then grab Isaiah World with the next pick. That's what I would do. Either one of those two guys.
Final say, Calvin Austin Gooner.
I like Bud Clark. I ain't gonna lie.
You want to wait and get Bud Clark, so you want to go somewhere else?
I'm not seeing a better move.
Yeah.
You want Bud Clark right now?
There's no such thing as a reach.
I'm not saying
No,
it's a
take
reach,
Bud-
but you have pick 85 and like 80 something.
85 and 99.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I get it. I'm just thinking like we grab Isaiah World at 85 or 99, and then a quarterback with one of those two. You know, those two picks, one of those has to be quarterback in my eyes.
so,
Yeah, I say we take Bud Clark right
all
now.
right, go for it.
Malik Muhammad, I wouldn't hate picking him up. Steelers don't really need a corner, but that is one hell of a guy to grab. Is Malik Muhammad.
Yeah. I don't hate another DB.
Like that's been the Steelers' biggest struggle is like their pass defense last season was horrendous. And obviously they've worked to fix that. Shout out Kyle Lewis for still being available.
He wants us to draft him.
He wants it so bad.
It's bad. If I were to rank this next pick, if I were to rank it, I would go Malik Muhammad and then Malik Muhammad, Deontay Lawson, or not Deontay Lawson, Harold Perkins, or we grab a quarterback. So I'll let the Calvin Austin Gooner.
So Calvin Austin Gooner.
Where to go? But I would go Malik Muhammad here.
No, I like Malik Muhammad. He's a dog, and we need that. So I'm with Malik Muhammad.
And at 99,
you want to go get Isaiah World?
I wouldn't hate that. The Steelers need tackle, both right tackle or left tackle, because you can move a guy inside, right? You can move. Broderick Jones could be solid inside. So can Troy Fautanu. He can be pretty solid inside. He played guard at the college level, so like I wouldn't hate Isaiah World here. I honestly wouldn't hate Isaiah World.
I'm with it. I don't really know who that is, so I don't really know. I don't have to say this, but
Oregon offensive lineman is all you need to know.
He's 6'8".
I like it then.
Holy, shifting a 6'8" guy to
6'8",
guard.
318.
Or would you move him at tackle and move the other guys in?
Goodness gracious, that's a monster.
No, we would keep Isaiah World at tackle.
Yeah,
Move like Troy Fautanu to guard. That's what he played in college anyway.
We'll end it off with some Isaiah World.
Do it.
Straight almost B's except for Bud Clark, which, hey,
Bruh.
we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, that was expected. I don't hate it. I like the first one more, just because I feel like we fit our biggest need, which was guard. We filled that early.
Yeah.
If I was paying attention for the Caleb Banks pick, maybe we could have grabbed Emmanuel Breakdown, but I wasn't paying attention.
So
Anyway,
you were saying you like
this is
number
solid.
one more.
Yeah, I like number one more. Our biggest need right now with Samalu being gone, how can we keep Spencer Anderson our plug and play guy, right? How do we keep Spencer Anderson as a guy that can either play on the line when there's an injury or line up in space and just be a Trent Williams or a Darnell Washington, you know? Can you imagine throw Spencer Anderson and Darnell Washington both on the each end of the line, run inside zone split? They both split and just demolish the D ends on either end. It'd be sick. It's both
All for Rico Dowdle to
defenders.
run 300 yards every game.
I love the pickup of Rico Dowdle, dude.
That's a good pickup.
Dream scenario. You get to pick your... Ideally, you can't be like, oh, I want Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles at 21. Dream scenario, a person that's actually probably going to be there at 21. Who is your ideal player for the Steelers to draft at 21?
Vega.
I think Vega will be gone to the Ravens.
I don't think the Ravens take him. I honestly don't. I think the Ravens consider it, but I don't think an offensive lineman is their biggest need. I think if Jordan Tyson's there, they prefer Jordan Tyson to get a guy outside. They might go Kenyon Sadiq, right? They need an Isaiah Likely since he went to New York, right? Maybe they go Kenyon Sadiq. They could go corner. There was always a need for corner for them. They could go D tackle. I have them drafting Caleb Banks in the first round. I think it's a very safe pick because of their definite need for interior offensive linemen. I just feel like the Ravens aren't so focused on that just because you got Derrick Henry who can run through a brick wall if you need him to. And you got Lamar Jackson who can run around. Like, offensive line, while important, isn't what's holding them back in their eyes. And that's my opinion. Also, I'm a Steelers fan, so I hate when the Ravens make smart decisions.
I will combat that since their new head coach, Jesse Minter, besides Derwin James and like Khalil Mack and a couple dudes, you can't really name a ton of the guys on their defense. They kind of do a lot with not much.
Bud Dupree, Steelers legend.
Barely saw the field. Guy was like never on the field. But like Jesse Minter worked with such, I don't want to say mediocre because they played very well, but he doesn't need elite level talent to turn them into elite level players. And
well, let's keep in mind though, Zachary Orr is still that defensive coordinator. It doesn't matter that Jesse Minter's the head coach. He's a defensive-minded guy. It doesn't matter. He's probably going to be the defensive play caller. Zachary Orr is still their defensive coordinator.
Their defense did turn it on later.
Defensive.
Like,
yeah, it's because John Harbaugh took over defensive play calling duties.
I think Jesse Minter still will. Like, it'll still be his scheme and everything. But then again, Jesse Minter was just where LA just had the worst line by far, and it was because of their interior offensive line. And you lost Linderbaum. I know Falele's a bum, but you still lost him, and that's a depth piece. So it just doesn't really make sense. And the whole Max Crosby thing, like they lose Likely, they lose Kolar, they lose Linderbaum, and they just lost Falele. Like, why would they not? Like, I can see Sadiq, but I feel like Sadiq will be gone. And even if he's there,
He could be.
He could be.
He could be. The problem is it's such a premium position, and the Ravens might feel like they're in a win-now position even at pick 14. You know? They might feel like their window is closing, and you got to just make a big splash, and there's no bigger splash than drafting a premium position with a top 15 pick. It's the same thing as drafting a running back in the first 7 picks, like Ashton Genty, right? Like, sometimes it's just what it is, right?
Yeah. I just think with the things that have happened, especially this last year with, like, if the Chargers had an offensive line, I don't want to say, like, these hypotheticals because that's, like, what we're known for. But, like, it's hard to not say that if we had a better offensive line, we could have gone farther. And Lamar's getting less mobile. He doesn't run as much. He still can, but, like, we saw, like, after he's been hurt, he's, like, just not taking off as much. Derrick Henry's getting older. I mean, he's inevitable. Like, it's still Derrick Henry. But I just think it makes most sense. Protect your injury-prone quarterback, who's your franchise league MVP. In my eyes, Jesse Minter leaving LA, he works with, like, his line last year, like, his interior line was Jamari Caldwell and T.R. Tart. And, like, those aren't like elite level players. Like Tier Tart did play very well, but like the line coming from seeing Bradley Bozeman, Mekhi Becton, and Zion Johnson, like seeing Vega to protect your guy Lamar, who has been hurt a lot recently, just seems so appealing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't hate the Vega pick. My bias is probably kicking in when I'm mentioning that he could be available after the Ravens, not selecting him. My bias is probably kicking in, and I'm not going to deny that. But I'm also not going to deny that Jesse Minter, he's not the end-all, be-all, right? It's not necessarily his decision who they draft.
No, for sure.
And their GM has been known to say, we have the most mobile quarterback in NFL history with the most powerful running back in NFL history. You can argue with a wall if you disagree. Like
Jaylen Warren.
Stud. Like, all I'm trying to say is it's the GM's decision at the end of the day. And he's been known to say, sure, could we use interior offensive line? Yeah, we could have used it last year, the year before that even. But did you know that Lamar Jackson just needs one more receiver? That's how I feel he feels, which is Jordan Tyson might be their pick if he's available there. Right? If he's available there, he could be. Right? He might fall just due to injury concerns, but right, that's a very win now draft pick. Right? It's a high risk, high reward. And teams don't do that unless they feel like they have some chance of winning, you know? Xavier Worthy a couple of years ago was a win now kind of a guy. That was a high risk, high reward, right? He's 170 pounds, you know? He's either going to turn into Tyreek Hill or he's going to be on the sidelines because he's injured. He's not going to be wearing pads because he's injured. He missed a lot of last year, and I never prey on anyone's injury, but it's a high risk pick, you know? That's the way I look at it, is Jordan Tyson is also a high risk, high reward pick. And I feel like that's just it's a bigger need for the Ravens. Maybe you go Kenyon Sadiq could be a bad pick for the Ravens, considering they just signed Mark Andrews to a 3-year contract. But
they did love Isaiah Likely. So just
they did not utilize Isaiah Likely the way he should have been utilized, by the way. Let's keep that in mind.
Could run a lot of 12 personnel.
Yeah. Jesse Minter, I can imagine, is going to love 12 personnel. He feels like a 12 personnel guy.
Especially with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Hard not to. What about you? I guess we'll change your name, Calvin Austin Gooner.
I did mention Casey Conception.
That's what I was going to say, was Casey Conception. I love that dude.
Even with the drop problems? You love him?
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
He'd be our wide receiver 3.
Contigia got a catch.
I mean, I like DK, Michael Pittman, and Casey Conception as our wide receiver core. I would not hate that.
I don't hate it either. I mean,
you can run 11 personnel, you can run 12 and keep Casey on the sidelines for 12 personnel. Like, I don't hate it, you know?
And he can be a return guy, and he can do a lot of other things.
Return guy. Obviously, without Calvin Austin, we're missing our punt returner. Casey Conception fits that.
I miss that guy so much.
He does.
Shout out the GOAT. I'm just gonna caress his head right here.
Dude. I mean, and you don't have Arthur Smith anymore, so I mean,
thank God
you won't have a wide receiver.
God.
No wide receiver screens every other play and halfback screens.
Yeah.
I do have one final question. I'll let you guys get out of here. Is there a single edge that if they were on the board that you would just take? I know it's like an edge rusher. Not what you're thinking, Gooner.
Sorry.
I mean, it is a deep draft for edge. Like, you could get like a Lawrence in the second round if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Yeah. I'm not deep like that.
But is there?
It's a deep draft, especially for edge rushers, and I think it all comes down to like when we reached for Lee Hunter on that first mock. Could we have gone an edge rusher? Maybe. We didn't look. We didn't see what edge rushers were on the board, right? But maybe there's a TJ Parker on the board. Maybe there's a some big name that
Is that the guy from Clemson?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
TJ
no,
Parker's going to be really good in the league.
I do like TJ Parker.
The way I look at it, though, is it just depends on who's available, right? Is there a guy that we just have to have we have to have and we can't risk not having him now, right? Like, that's why we took Kyle Lewis at 76 in the first one, because we couldn't risk not. That's why we took Bud Clark 76, because we couldn't risk not having him, right? Like, we were willing to risk not having Isaiah World, right? But we weren't willing to risk not having Bud Clark. So that's the way I look at it. Is there a guy that we can risk not having, like in this case, an Isaiah World? If so, maybe you draft an edge rusher and just see who's expendable, right? Maybe you want to keep Alex Highsmith because, what it's going to cost to ship him off is not going to be, worth the dead cap. Maybe you want to ship off Nick Herbig. You can't pay 3 edge rushers. You can't pay 3 edge rushers big money. Maybe you ship off Nick Herbig, which I would hate. I prefer Herbig over Highsmith. Maybe you ship them off, but I can't imagine that there's a name if they're available. I can't imagine there's a name that if we draft an edge rusher, we have to have a plan for the big our 4 that we already have, right? What's the plan on bringing in a 5th? Are we going to have a 5th, or are one of those 4 going to move? Is it TJ Watt, which it better not be? Is it Alex Highsmith, which it could be? Is it Nate Herbig, which it could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it, where it's possible, right? But I just don't see a world where in the first 4 or even 5 rounds, the Steelers take an edge rusher, unless they move one of their 4.
Well, any last words, Calvin Austin Gooner?
Go Steelers.
Go Steelers. What's your
Hey, wait, I got one more thing to say.
let's hear it.
Calvin Austin, if you watch this video, respond to my DM, brother. Please. Please.
You think you got a chance?
No, not really.
He's kind of big on TikTok. Calvin Austin's got quite a following on TikTok. Anyway,
Shout out Calvin Austin.
But
shout out Calvin Austin.
there's our Steelers 3-round mock draft. Shout out Calvin Austin Gooner and Skyler. If y'all have any differing opinions, which I don't know if you will, you might, because
You're
everyone's got
wrong if you do.
You're wrong if you do, says Skyler. But everybody has their own opinion. You can have your own opinion. If you have one, share it down below. We'd love to hear your opinion also, as football fans and these other Steeler fans want to hear where you want to go or what you would take, because everyone's different. Everyone thinks they know exactly what the team should do, but there's a reason we're not in front offices, sadly.
I should be.
I wish I was,
I should be.
If you guys want to be a part of a 3-round fan-led mock draft for your team, let me know down below.